Hello everyone. Uh, Happy New Year to everyone. I hope the new year will be good for all of us and it brings only good things in our lives. And I want to start the newest video again with the old thing, and it's gonna be freeCodeCamp, two more uh, exercises. One of them is Caesar's Cipher, and another one cache register. So if this topic's interesting for you, do not forget to subscribe, leave a comment, press the like button. Also, you could share your solution with me, so it helps uh, understand maybe a better way to solve them. So it's just my thoughts how I deal with them. And the first one is gonna be Caesar's Cipher. It's a and yeah, just one thing that all these tasks from freeCodeCamp. So if you're interested, you could go there and solve them by your own. I leave a link in the description below. So the first one is Caesar Cipher. It's a famous cipher, and the most common name for it is Shift Cipher. It was used by Caesar in the old time just to have some encryption for his messages, and they kind of shift the letter on certain symbols. For example, if you have A, it's gonna be N, and if you have B, it's gonna be O. So just moved on 30 characters, and that's it. From my perspective, first of all, I tried one way with alphabet, but then I thought, why do I need alphabet if we have char codes? So, for example, if you have A, then you're gonna be moved on certain symbols to N. So it's kind of 65 plus 13, and it's gonna be 78, and it's gonna be N. And here it is my solution, how I thought it's gonna be useful to do. So we need a variable to store a final result, and also we need to return it. Then how I thought, always they're gonna be in uppercase, but to be sure that they are, I decided to uppercase, just to be sure that all of them in uppercase. Oh, it's not. Let's see. Uppercase. That's interesting. Why as string to uppercase? Uppercase. Double P. As usual, my pronunciation not the best one. So yeah, just to be sure that all of them in uppercase, I move them to it. The next thing that I thought that we need some loop to walk through each letter. Loop for each letter. Then we need to check if it's letter or no. So we need condition to check if it's a letter or no. And then we need one more condition to check in which range. So for example, if we got 80s, so it's P and plus 13, it's gonna be 93, and it's already not a letter. That means that we need to add 10 and then plus 3 but started from 65. So it's gonna be, what is gonna be, 67 or 68, 70, yeah. So we need to take care of this. So condition to check if next letter no next letter char code less than 91. So it's our algorithm for this. So let's start coding. So here I decide to use for each. At first attempt I did it using while, but then I thought if for while we need also to have a variable I. So I decided to use for each, and if you want use for each to string, you need to use destructurization and just to spread it into a new array. So here we're gonna have our letter and I. It will go like that. Then we need to understand what char code we have for current letter. For this we're gonna grab string, and we have a method char code add, and we just need to provide an index to it. So it's gonna be our I, and by this we're gonna receive a letter code our, as you can see. So here, for example, 83, it's for S here, I assume, and yeah, S. So char code, by index, you could understand what code belongs to which letter, basically. Then we need, as I told before, check if it's letter or no. It could be also space or someone else. To do this, we're gonna use if statement, and here we just checking that letter code greater than 64. So as you can see here, our letter started from 65 and less than 91. And letter code less than 91. If yes, then we gonna do this thing. If no, we just else we just add whatever it is to our result variable. So it's gonna be letter. Something like that. As you can see, there are already some result we have. So here we need to get the next letter. For this, we create a new variable code like this, and to understand what the code for it, we're gonna do next letter. Oh no, letter code plus 13. So for example, we had 70, it's gonna be 83, and when we gonna do 70, here it would be 70 plus 13, we're doing our shift, and then we're gonna divide by module. We understand that it's less than 91, so it's gonna be 83, and we can use. But in case if we had kind of the symbol gonna be 83 plus 13, and when we divide by 91. The part that left is gonna be 5, and we need this part add to 65 to grab the next letter. So it's basically the logic. So here we're gonna use divide by module, and then we almost done with it. We're gonna do the following. Next letter code, we're checking if it's greater or equal 65, and if it's greater, we're doing the next string. Here we have the method from char code. We can by char code we can receive a letter itself. So for example 83, it's gonna be S. So from char code, next letter code, gonna grab it, or we can do the following and just use the same string from char code, and here we just need 65 plus next letter code. Simply, that's it. Let me clear here. So we have here a few examples. So this should be freeCodeCamp, this free pizza, and this a long sentence. I'm not sure of how it's gonna be for you. It might be difficult to know, but it's also worth to practice, and just such simple tasks could bring a lot of knowledge, because I already kind of forget how to use shortcuts and etc. But right now, good to remember about this thing. The cache register is the next one exercise that we're gonna do. It's a bit more complicated, I would say, than previous one, but at the same time, it's interesting to do it. So the thing about it that we need to design a cache register drawer that accept a few things: purchases, price, then second argument is going to be cash that we receive for this purchase, and the third item that we the cash that we have in withdrawal. This function should return status per each purchase. When we have insufficient funds, it means that we have less amount of money in withdrawal than we need to return, or if we can't return a change, exact amount of change. The closed state is gonna be when we have the equal value in change, and we can return it. So that means that amount of money that we need to return is exact amount of money that we have in withdrawal, and we can return this exchange. And the open status, it's when we can return change and we still have some amount of money in our withdrawal. And also we need to return them differently. For close, we need to return the change itself and then the status per each point. And if it's open, then we need to sort them in the highest order. So let's start working on it. So first of all, we're gonna need several things here. One variable is gonna be change that we're gonna use for open status. We're gonna store here, push in this array everything that we need to return. Then variable need to return. Here we're gonna calculate what amount of money we need to return. For this, we need to subtract from cash price. And the last one is gonna be sum. Here we need to calculate if we still have some money in our drawer or no, just to understand that which status is more correct. First of all, we're gonna use for a loop to walk through each item in our drawer, and we need to start not from the lowest one but from the highest one. For this, we need to do next. Here we need to start from length -1 from the end of it. Then we need to compare that I greater or equal than 0 and I plus, or not plus plus, minus minus. Then we need to have condition in which we're gonna check that here I have some array for just to understand quarter. What is it? It's 1.25. It's 0.25 cents. And by this, we're gonna do several different operations. So here we're gonna do the next exchange. We check which to which this current element that we receive in our loop, to which amount of money it's related. And if it's less or equal to need to return, so do we need to do some operation with it or no? And also we're gonna check here that for this element we do not have 0. So it means do we have some amount of money for 20s or no? If it's gonna be, for example, 0, then we do not need to do anything because we can't return it. Then we're gonna create new variable here, give, just to understand which amount of money we need to return. And also here we need to use math floor just to round this value. And to understand this, we need to divide need to return to exchange seed I and 0. And by this, we're gonna understand the amount of money we could return and what amount of actually we needed. And here also we need to multiply it by exchange seed I and 0. And it's gonna be, let's just take a look what it's gonna be. So as you can see, for our case 80s, and also let's print here just to understand with which item we are working here. So 80s and 60. Wait, 60. It's because we're working with 20s, so it's better to use like this. So as you can see, we skipped hundreds because it's bigger than we need to return, so we can use them. But we can work with 20s, and we need to return 80s, but we have only 60. That means we need to subtract it, and for this we gonna do next calculation, current amount to subtract, and here we're gonna take a look if give less or equal than we have in our cache, then we use give, or just what we have in cache. Next one, need to return. We're gonna do some calculations here. From need to return, we're gonna subtract current amount to subtract, and also don't forget that if you're doing such operations, kind of minus 1.5, you see, to show me like this, you need also take care of this thing. For this, you need to use to fix it and to some numbers, but to fix it returns strings. That means that we still need to convert it to number by this. It's a bit tricky thing, but it is what it is. Then we assign the amount that we just calculated to our cache in drawer that we have, minus current amount to subtract, and by this we're gonna have the following. Let me clear. So we're working with 20s, and we have 0 because we subtract 60s. So, and then we need also, let me remove this, to add this amount to our sum. To understand what amount of money left our operations for current things. But also I think it's a bit incorrect, and we need to do it after our if statement. Check, not sure. Yeah, I'll check. And after this, we're gonna check if CTI. So if we still have some money here, we're gonna push it to change. Here also it should be greater than, no, not greater, equal 0. Because for open our returning, no, so it's need to be greater than 0, yeah. And we push it here as array and seed I0, and here current amount to subtract, because for open status, as you can see, we need to return the amount of money which we kind of gave in change. This one operation that we did, and after for loop, we need to have several if statements to check which status should we return. By default, I'm gonna return this status because we don't don't need to do anything with it. And if when we need to return open, when in our drawer amount of money greater than 0 and need to return equal 0. So that means we return everything what we needed, and we still have some amount of money. And here in change we're gonna return the thing which we calculated earlier. And for close it's gonna be a bit more difficult. So if our drawer will have 0 amount of money left after we give a change, and need to return equals 0. So I want to check here. I need to return just to be sure that it's number. Oh, sorry for this. Then we need to return status closed, and also let's check what we have here in seed, because by default we need to return the amount of money that we gave and also the full status on our drawer. Let's check what we have in it. Here it's when we have open. Let's check closed. I prepared several things here, and this should be commented. So here update, and it's everything 0, and it's not correct for us. So that means that we need to do the following thing. We need to update our seed depends on our change that we gave. Okay, for this we're gonna do the next. For each item that we have in change, ch arrow function like this, and then we need to find out for which seed we need to update amount of money that we gave. And for this we're gonna do seed find index element, where element 0 equals then if equal with change 0. So we find out the index of seed that we need to update, and by this we gonna do seed index 1 equal to change 1. And let's check what we will have here. So it's closed, and we gave here penny, nickel, quarter, what we should have for closed. Penny, have I said? Yes. I forgot something to do, probably. Let's check what we have for change. Because we do not have anything here, because it's become 0 at the point when we so here we need actually to have equal, because when we subtract Yes, and for closed we have penny 0.5 as it should be, and insufficient funds. Let's check this test case. So it appears when we do not have enough money to return change. So here we have only 1 cent, but we need to return 50 cents, and we return show that we have what sufficient funds and empty array. And that's basically it, I would say. So I hope this one is gonna be helpful for you, but do not forget to practice by your own. freeCodeCamp, please try to use it. It's not an advertisement or something like that. It's just a good website for practicing and learning new stuff. So you're welcome. They would be happy probably. Thank you for your attention. If you like the videos that I'm doing, subscribe, leave a comment, and press the like button. The next video is gonna be not from freeCodeCamp. We're gonna do some markup, probably practicing HTML, CSS, maybe a bit JavaScript. I still have several things that I want to record, so it's gonna be more. Thank you for your attention. Have a good weekend and see you soon.